Hey guys, DC Network here, coming at you with another video. So we are now at the midpoint of Young Justice Season 4 Phantoms, which means we now have a mid-season hiatus, which I did not exactly know about 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, I went on HBO Max to go watch episode 14 to learn that that's not coming to the spring or summer of this year, but I wanted to give you guys my thoughts on the first half of Young Justice Season 4. As per usual with these types of videos, there will be spoilers at a certain point, and I will let you know once spoilers are coming. So Young Justice aired its first 2 seasons on Cartoon Network back in the early 2010s, and they were well received. So well received that Warner Media decided to renew the series for a 3rd season back in 2019 on the now defunct streaming service DC Universe. That season, Season 3, it had mixed reception. I wasn't the biggest fan of it. In my opinion, Season 3 was just forgettable, but the cast and crew on the series said that Season 4 would take a different turn because they heard that people didn't like Season 3 and that Season 4 would focus on the main cast of characters from the first season. And in a way, they did keep that promise, but in a different way than I think many people were expecting. And overall, so far, Season 4's been a mixed bag of good, bad, and in between as well. So with that being said, spoilers are ahead, you have been warned. So far Season 4 has been divided into 3 separate arcs, and each arc is focusing on a main character from the cast in the original first season. So the first arc was taking place on Mars, and it was following Miss Martian and Superboy, where they were going to get married on Miss Martian's home planet. Essentially what happens is the king of Mars was murdered, and they're trying to figure out who did it. So Superboy, Beast Boy, who is also with Miss Martian on Mars, they're basically trying to figure out who killed the king of Mars. They're trying to figure it out to help the queen and to help the prince of Mars. And essentially what happens is, as they're diving into this mystery, they find out who the killer is, and then Superboy gets killed. And so that is the end of Superboy, at least for the time being. Now, one thing that they did during this arc is they introduced some mysterious characters who seem to be from the future or something, where they're basically following around Miss Martian, Beast Boy, and Superboy. And there's another character who also is, I guess, seemingly from the future, who actually is the one who killed Superboy. And the thing is about this arc is I really enjoyed the Mars arc. I really did. But what I didn't like about it is after the death of Superboy, I felt like they just kind of brushed it under the rug, and then all of a sudden we're on Earth and Tigress's arc is starting, which I kind of felt like we needed one more episode on Mars just to see what the aftermath of Superboy's death is like, which we did kind of get that later on in the season, but I really felt like one more episode on Mars was needed. Now, before I dive into the second arc of the season, I want you to keep in mind those mysterious characters that seem to be from the future, because they're going to play a pretty important role in this season, I would say. Now, the second arc is following Tigress, aka Artemis, as she finds out that Superboy is dead from Aqualad and Nightwing. At this point, I thought, oh, so the gang's going to get back together, and now we're going to follow the entire cast from the first season. But no, basically they tell her that, and then she decides, you know what, I should make up with my sister before she's dead too. And the whole season is, or rather the whole arc, is basically Artemis trying to, get her sister to come home so she could live with her daughter. That's basically the entirety of the second arc, and it was good. I did enjoy it, but like I said, I feel like more on Mars was needed before we jumped to this point. And so that is the second arc of Season 4. And now the third arc of Season 4 is about Zatanna, and it's basically following Zatanna and her new students that she's teaching in the arts of magic. And essentially Clarion is in the Order of Chaos. He's a Chaos Lord or something like that, and this other Chaos Lord comes to Earth and is basically trying to destroy the planet when Dr. Fate, Zatanna, and her students have to stop her. And Vandal Savage is involved in this arc as well. He's the, apparently he's been alive throughout all of time, and they're showing him throughout history, and that's pretty much the entirety of the arc. this is the one arc of season 4 thus far that I actually did not like really at all whatsoever. I just thought the arc was kind of boring throughout it. It wasn't that interesting to me, at least. Like I said, I really liked the first arc a lot. The second arc was good, but the third arc just wasn't my cup of tea. So then how does this season end? It actually does end on a cliffhanger, as many of you may guess. Basically, when Zatanna finishes defeating, the bad guy, the Lord of Chaos that came to Earth, she finds out that Superboy's soul is in distress. It's basically stuck in a world between worlds of sorts, and that's pretty much the end of the midpoint of season 4. We don't know now, is Superboy actually dead? Is he going to come back? Does this mean there's a way to get Wally to come back after he died in season 2? We really don't know, and we're gonna have to wait and see. But you may remember I said earlier in the video, remember those mysterious characters, because they're going to play a really important part in this season, and they haven't thus far. They've kind of just disappeared, which is really strange to me, because they were building up this mystery in the first arc of who are these characters, these 3 characters that keep following around Miss Martian, Superboy, and Beast Boy, and then this 4th character who's trying to kill them. Who are these people? Who are these characters? And then they kind of just drop off the face of the earth after that. They make a cameo during the credits of one of the Zatanna arc episodes, but they don't do anything. They're just sitting on a bench and they don't say anything. They're just there. And so it's like, basically, I feel like the writers were like, yeah, these people still exist. Don't forget about them, because they're going to have a role later on in this season. Overall, I feel like the problem with season 4 Phantom so far is the structure of the season is just bad. Like I said, I really enjoyed the first arc a lot, but then it just jumps back to Earth to follow Tigress, and then it jumps to Zatanna's arc to follow her story. I feel like the best thing they could have done for season 4 is have the entire cast of characters from the first season join forces again. I feel like that's what a lot of fans of Young Justice want to see, but for some reason the writers decided to take season 4 into a different direction, where instead of focusing on the entire cast at once, they're doing them each individually in their own arcs. Young Justice season 4, I would say, is definitely better than season 3. My problem with it, like I said, is that its structure is just a mess. Going forward, we'll see how the second half of the season is. I'm assuming that the whole cast is actually going to get involved at this point, since Superboy's soul is like in trauma and stuff like that. I'm assuming they're all going to get involved to try to help Superboy, but we'll have to wait and see on that. The one other thing I will add before I sign off on this video is I kind of find it odd that they're having this mid-season hiatus, because as it seemed, at least from what I heard, it looked like that the entire season was going to air in 26 consecutive weeks. It seemed that all the episodes were basically done, and now all of a sudden we're in this mid-season hiatus, which I really think is not a good idea. I remember with season 3 this was an issue for me, at least, and it might just be because, like I said, season 3 is kind of forgettable in my opinion, but once we got to the midpoint of season 3 and we had like a 6-month hiatus, when season 3 came back for the second half of the season, I kind of forgot what had happened in the first. I was like, what is the story exactly? What's going on here? And so I hope that's not an issue with season 4 when it comes back. I hope they don't take that much time off, that when it does come back, you're wondering to yourself, hey, where did we leave off exactly? What happened in season 4 thus far, and what's going on now? I hope that's not an issue, but that all depends on how long will they take off for season 4's mid-season hiatus. Hopefully it's only a few months. I'm hoping that we're not talking in July saying, hey, where's the second half of Young Justice, but we'll just have to wait and see on that. But anyways, let me know in the comment section below what you guys think about Young Justice season 4 so far. Do you agree with me that it's been oddly structured, to say the least? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.